Hello friends, Patrick here, and on today's video we are talking about the NBN. I have a little playlist called the NBN playlist with all news and questions about the NBN, so check that out. If you're watching this video, we're going to be talking about costs. Will the NBN ever make any money? It is usually a telco's ongoing operating cost, not its capital cost, that actually warrants or determines its cash flow performance. So telcos consistently strive to reduce operating costs by simplifying their product set and associated processes. With the change to the multi-technology mix, we have gone in the other direction. Using multiple technologies increases the complexity of the required IT systems, the maintenance costs, the holding costs of spare parts, and the training costs, and also obviously any other overhead costs. The multi-technology mix is unfortunately a bigger burden on not only the government, but also the actual NBN CO. This point was admitted in April 2018 by then the CEO of NBN CO, Bill Morrow. In his paper published by the NBN CO, he stated that the MTM model meant lower speeds, more faults, and higher maintenance costs than Labour's fiber to the premises based network. He was, of course, also obliged to say that the original fiber to the premises network would have cost more to build than the MTM. But this claim was, as we will soon see, not supported by the facts. It is also an unfortunate reality that the renegotiated Telstra deal put in place by Turnbull and Morrow has increased NBN CO's costs. In the original deal, responsibility to make Telstra's pit and duct infrastructure fit for purpose was sequentially with Telstra. But under the deal renegotiated for the MTM, that responsibility, including any asbestos problems, was transferred to the NBN CO and by extension to the, yep, you got it, Australian taxpayers. From every angle, the decision to use the old copper and HFC, which is that pay TV cable we talked about in previous videos, has turned out much worse than the coalition's plan anticipated. There were plenty of warnings, and senior Telstra managers suggested in that 2003 that the copper phone network would need to be replaced within 15 years. Saying the aging lines are now at 5 minutes to midnight, kind of like that nuclear countdown that we see sometimes on TV, or mainly on documentaries about how the world is ending. But let's get back to the internet. He also indicated that use of ADSL was the last sweat of revenue that could be wrung out of the old copper network. Imagine that, Telstra is telling you right now that the old network that they sold to the NBN CO and that the taxpayers paid for is on its last few legs. Given that NBN CO had purchased more than 27,000 kilometers of new copper cables as of mid-November 2018, in some cases it provides a barely acceptable service. The Telstra manager has proven to be correct. A similar story has unfolded with the attempts to use the HFC cable networks built by Optus and Telstra, as you would have seen in my previous video. In 2010, the team at NBN CO evaluated the possible use of these networks as part of the NBN. They rapidly came to the conclusion that this was not a viable option, and at that time they believed the best option was to use neither of the HFC networks and instead financially compensate Telstra and Optus for progressively transferring the HFC broadband customers onto the fiber to the premises based NBN. Alright, let's take a breather. Look, in fact, the NBN CO team took only a few weeks to come to the conclusion that Optus's HFC network was unusable for high-speed broadband without a major investment to remedy and also upgrade all the aging lines. Well, this conclusion was heavily criticized by Turnbull, and he subsequently directed NBN CO to make use of both the HFC networks as part of the MTM when the coalition formed government in 2013. An interesting directive given the claims of adopting a technologically neutral approach. By 2015, it was evident that the Optus HFC network was indeed unusable, and the 450,000 NBN services that Turnbull had projected would be delivered using the Optus HFC network were reduced to 25,000 that had already been deployed. The picture was somewhat better with the Telstra HFC network. Nevertheless, the number of NBN services to be provided using this network was decreased from national estimates, while the implementation time and costs have increased dramatically. As recently as October 2018, the CEO of NBN CO advised Senate estimates that close to $1 billion of the peak funding increase are due to the HFC pause to fix the problems and optimize the HFC network. There are no easy solutions to these revenue and operating challenges and to the impact they are going to have on NBN CO's finances. The cash already spent on implementing the MTM cannot be recovered. These woes, especially the problem with future cash flow, are exacerbated by NBN CO's inability to participate significantly in the 5G rollouts across Australia. Without mincing words, 5G is coming and telcos understand that a deep fiber deployment is vital to underpin 5G coverage. Imagine having all these nodes with fiber to the premises, or at least fiber to the node, then you'll be able to pin up these 5G towers. And obviously Labor's original fiber to the premises plan would have been able to play a complementary role in its deployment. This was anticipated by the NBN CO's management when they allocated the number of fiber to each area as part of the original fiber to the premises network planning. They knew about it, they thought about it, and they planned it. And if the deep fiber to the actual premises network had been completed, NBN CO could now be developing another important wholesale revenue stream by offering wholesale fiber connection to the large number of 5G mobile cell sites that are going to be needed for all of Australia. Well, with the MTM, using the old copper infrastructure, this revenue opportunity has largely evaporated. This has turned 5G from a potential revenue opportunity for NBN CO to a competitive threat. So now we're gonna look back and think, NBN CO, damn it, you could have made more money, but instead you decided to cheap out and lose out on opportunities, which seems to be exactly what's happening now. The 5G network is around the corner, it's spreading fast, and NBN CO could have been the wholesaler for that system, and telcos wouldn't bother with setting up their own towers because NBN CO would have provided that infrastructure. And you know what? At the end of the day, NBN CO could have been the premier provider of wholesale internet, or at least connectivity services in all of Australia. And instead we've got this very expensive debacle. Guys, thank you very much for watching this. I think it's been a very long video. Hope it has been a little bit educational, a little bit helpful about what's actually happening with the NBN CO and how the rollout is actually progressing. Obviously, very slowly from the comments I have been reading so far. Guys, thank you very much for liking, subscribing. Stay tuned for more videos about the NBN, and I'll catch you in another video. Bye.